I know. I know. You've read the title. You've come into this video. You're incensed. You are furious that I have dedicated an entire video to taking a colossal dump all over yours and my favorite game, favorite series. And yeah, that's kind of what it is, but it's also not. Welcome to the worst parts about the new features on Football Manager 2021. Let me just say and make this clear right now. I am excited for the game. I have pre-ordered the game. I am looking forward to it coming out. I think it's going to be great. But we hear all these things. People have done their reaction videos. They've read the articles. They've watched the feature video. And say, oh, it's great. Look at all this. Look at all this cool stuff. It's time somebody just stepped back for a minute and thought about, hey, maybe this might not be as great as we think. Maybe it'll be absolutely useless. We'll never touch it again. Maybe it'll ruin the game. Who knows? So that's what I'm going to do. I have watched the most recent video with Spencer Owen. You should check it out. It's a good video. It lets you in on the first batch of the new features for the game. They're going to be doing a whole series of these videos going down the line. Essentially just bringing together everything they've released in the time periods between videos and making it nice and concise, about 5 minutes long. Go check it out. I've watched that video. I've gone through it. I've looked at all the different parts and I've thought, how can this be bad? How can this be pointless? How can this make the game worse? And so here are those reasons. This is how it can be worse. I'm going to start with something that isn't actually a feature within this video. It was just mentioned at the start and I haven't really addressed it yet. A loud group of people have been pushing for a few years now to get Football Manager back on consoles. And on the face of it, I can completely understand why. It's a whole new kind of section of the market they haven't been in over a decade. There are people that can run Football Manager on a console that can't afford to get a computer good enough to run the game well. You do need a decent amount of processing power to run this game, especially once you get further into it. I get that. I completely understand it. But I just don't think it's going to be any good. PC simulation games do not translate well to console. They just don't. I had Football Manager 2007 on my Xbox 360, and me being young and naive at the time thought it was fine. You know, I was still annoyed how difficult it was to move around because you don't have one of these. You don't have a mouse. You can't just move around the screen freely. You're trying to use, an analog stick as a mouse, and it just doesn't work. Take any sim game. They put City Skylines on Xbox. They did a few things with that. They used the buttons to open the menus and things a little bit better. I don't see how you do that with Football Manager. I think it's just, I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I will be. I think it's going to be a 1 or maybe 2 year thing, and then they realize, oh, nobody wants this because it's significantly worse. Let's stick to what we know. So the Xbox version. Now for the first actual feature that is shown within this video with Spencer. We're talking about interactions. So I'm not a fan. Personally, I think tone as a system was just much better than body language will be. I can be calm or assertive or passionate. You can imagine, in my head, when I'm saying something passionately, I'm not just standing there all robot-like, but like my voice is passionate. I'm imagining I'm probably using my hands quite a lot too. I don't need body language to tell me this, right? If I'm opening my arms widely to someone, who does that? Who does that? I mean, it's just, I don't think it's any worse. What if I want to, in the past, I have wanted to be like assertive or aggressive even in like my praise for somebody. If I say like, assertive, you've done well. How do I do that? Do I have to shake my head and say, you did well out there tonight, son? Do I have to throw my water bottle at someone to say they had a good game? Like, I just don't, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. It's not better. I think that'll just go the same way. People won't use it. 9 out of 10 times, probably 99 out of 100 times, with the tone system, everyone sits on calm, in like press conferences and things anyway. Team talks, I changed it. Team talks, I'm kind of annoyed they're changing, because tone in a team talk is huge, it's massive. How is that going to translate to body language? I have to say, good luck out there tonight with my hands outstretched, or do I point at someone and say, you know, you be better? I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't think it's going to work very well. The second kind of big change, and there's going to be a lot of these air quotes going around today, big change in interactions is the quick chats and the remote chats. I get what they're trying to do here. It's nothing though. It's absolutely nothing. A quick chat is supposed to be, oh, you're just, instead of calling them into your office, right? Interactions in the past are thought of, oh, you've called them to your office to talk. It's now meant to be a casual chat in the hallway, right? Unless there's like some dynamic within the game that changes like how effective the chat is, or what the effect of the chat is, whether you call into your office or talk to them wherever else, there's no point. It's just the same thing in a different place, right? I don't think a conversation about your training performance is any different if you do it in your office versus while you're taking a piss and you just happen to bring up conversation, right? It's not, there's no difference there. I get a lot of these conversations probably don't happen in an office, they'll happen as you're walking off the training field, but it's not important enough to make a whole new menu about it when really they've just put those interactions in a new box and thrown it in there and it's fine. Quick chats, remote chats is just a different way of doing the same thing. There's nothing particularly new about it. Moving on to the match day experience. This has seen a few things put in there, a few things moved around. This might be the biggest sticking point for me so far. As far as pre-game goes, they show you the screen, which I have up right now, where it says, it's basically your instructions, your pre-game instructions have been moved to that screen you get, which tells you the odds, and you click on pre-game, whatever. That's not, they've just moved it again. That's just a different timing, different position. Who has ever, more than once in their career on FM, actually clicked one of those things their assistant has given you? Or you've looked at it and gone, yes, maybe I should be doing tighter marking in this game. Thank you, Jeff. No one. You have your tactics set up, you know what you're going to do. You're not really relying on your assistant and your coaches to tell you what to do. Right? I think that's just kind of, they're making another big deal out of nothing there. As far as the match UI goes, now this is opinion, right? This isn't gospel, right? Like all of this video is. I do not like it. I don't. I think that bottom bar right there takes up a ridiculous amount of space. It just looks weird sitting on there because the rest of the match is now just compressed into the rest of the screen. I get a lot of that bar is collapsible, but as someone that uses shouts a lot, and by a lot I mean literally as often as I possibly can, every 10 minutes after every goal, I feel like I'm just going to have that there all the time and it's going to make my experience worse. I'm not a big fan of the way the score is in the top. I get it's more like a TV presentation. It might just be I'm not used to it. It's new, it's weird. I'm like, I hate change or something. Maybe that's it. I just don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way the goal thing at the bottom, there's no flashing text anymore. What are we going to do? That's a trigger for me. It's gone. The flashing text, and then we're going to score another goal again. Also, if you watch the video, I don't really have a capture of this, but if you go in and watch the video, there's a goal scored by Tolisso for Bayern. The goalkeeper still looks a bit shit. He just kind of falls over. So that might not be a great sign of any real good changes coming to goalkeeper AI in FM21 at least. So post-game has had, again, just a kind of a reskin. They put fan reaction in there, stuff that's usually hidden in the social section. If you haven't looked at that in a couple of years, I don't blame you, because it's just kind of generic garbage. It doesn't mean anything really, so I'll be ignoring that still, even though it's being thrown in front of my face now. But the big one, the thing that has a lot of people talking, is the inclusion of expected goals. Yes, there are going to be a lot of positive uses for this, and they've been covered in various other videos and on Twitter and things like that. Go check it out. I think the biggest use of expected goals is going to be in people telling everyone else how badly they got FM'd, and that's just going to be the thing. I'm sure you've all been on the Facebook or the Twitter at some point and seen the guess the score, and it's a picture of the match stats, and it has their shots and shots on target and clear-cut chances, half chances, all this stuff. It's just going to use expected goals now. Someone's going to put a picture where they've had 5 expected goals and their opponent has 0.06 and they've lost 3-0, and they'll complain and whine to everyone else on Facebook about it, and it'll be great. That's what expected goals is going to be used for most. It's opening SI up to further match-changing criticism from people who don't really know any better. Yes, there are very good uses for it. You can use it to help, figure out the problems with your team, why you're not scoring, if you're creating quality chances, if it's your playmakers or your strikers that are the problem, where your chances are coming from, where your best chances are coming from. A lot of great things. I think a large amount of the player base doesn't invest the time needed to use that properly, and are just going to use it to shit all over the match engine because they think that's the only problem, not their tactics. And you're going to get a lot of what we had before. My team should be winning, why have they lost this game? Because that never happens. You're just going to get more of it using expected goals instead of shots and shots on target. Third was the recruitment meeting. So this is a whole new, that was slightly undeserved, a whole new kind of aspect of the game. We're promised, obviously, the new meeting, a new staff role, new conversations to be had. I don't think it's going to do anything. For one, I think it's largely just a reskinned, moved version of scouting assignments. I think that, that it's got a bit of a team report in there too, because it's telling you where you need depth and where you need to upgrade and things like that, which is great. That's fine. I just don't see you getting the results you want out of it. The kind of random reports you get from your scouts, the ones where if you don't assign them, or if you do, obviously you get some things that you want. But we know that a lot of scout recommendations aren't great, and the best players you find are the ones you go and find yourself. Unless there's been some kind of significant upgrade to the way scouts work and operate and who they find, that's not going to change. You'll use it a couple times. You'll still go into player search and punch in the attributes yourself. If you're someone that plays with attribute masking on, then sure, this is probably great for you. And that's an added element to the game that some people use and some people don't. If you're someone that doesn't, like me, and I feel like most people, you'll just go into player search and do what you've always done. You're not going to really waste your time setting up your recruitment meetings too much, because you'll find you won't get much benefit from them. Maybe that's the cynic. That's what this video is about, though. So I don't think it's going to be much use to you. And then finally, I almost didn't bother mentioning this because it's unnecessary, really, is the end of season stuff. So they show the animation of the team winning the trophy. So instead of you jumping up and down just on a stage with some confetti, you're now jumping up and down on a stage with some confetti and a few other people standing around a little banner. That's their upgrade there. That's the change. There's some fire as well. That's the change. You can see in the picture I've taken here, the players are falling through the floor. So clearly that's not changed too much. Your decades-old celebration has just had a few more things thrown at it. Nothing's really changed there. And I get it, it's alpha. Maybe they won't fall through the floor in the real game. I'm still not going to spend much more time looking at it than I have done in the past. It's still nice to see your team celebrate. That's great. This isn't much of an upgrade on it was before. And then there's the kind of end of season review that's in there. It tells you they've claimed it's a whole new package. No, it's not. You've just lumped everything in one. Biggest win, biggest loss, best game, goal of the season. It's all the same stuff. It's just in a different skin. Don't get yourself excited about that at all. Alright, so that is it. The Cynics Guide, I guess, to the first feature video for Football Manager 2021. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with anything that I've said? Did I miss anything? Do you think, this guy, who does he think he is? Feel free to light up the comments below. Again, I'm going to say one more time, I am excited for the game. I have pre-ordered it. It's going to be great. I just think it's about time we put a slightly different spin on some things, temper our expectations. Don't expect God himself to come down and hand you Football Manager on a plate of grapes. I don't know where that reference came from. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. I will do more of these as the feature videos are released. So if you want to see more of this, hit subscribe. Maybe I'll do nice ones too, just to balance it out, make people feel good and fluffy and stuff. So keep your eyes out on the channel. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.